Good day, viewers. You are welcome back to Tindanious Maths and Science tutorial. If you are new here, kindly share, like, subscribe and comment for more interesting and catchy videos. Today, we are going to talk about piecewise function. Guess what? Function that is piecewise. Wow. So piecewise function. Now the concept behind piecewise function is this. You'll be given a function and that function consists of other functions that are different from the others. And those functions have different domain under different intervals. So you have a function and that function consists of other functions. So the other functions, let's call it sub-functions, consisting of what? Of different domain. Okay, so on the board we have a piecewise function is a mathematical function defined by multiple sub-functions applied to a specific interval or set of inputs. So I'm going to explain what we mean by multiple. Multiple means the function could consist of either 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as many as you can count. You see, that's why we bring the word what? Multiple, to mean that it's more than what? It's more than necessary. Okay. And here you have sub-functions. So for example, if you have f of x this way, so y is equal to f of x, which is equal to, piecewise functions are denoted this way, okay, it's denoted this way. So you have a bigger bracket this way, curly bracket consisting of, let's say, you have x plus 5 with domain, the domain, let's say, x is less than 1. You have, let's say, 2x plus 10 with the interval, let's say, x greater than 0. You get it that way. So you have negative 10x plus 7 with the interval x is less than or equal to 2. So function of this nature, that's what we call what? Piecewise function. This function consists of what? Sub. These are the sub functions. So you can have them as many as you can. This is what the respective for domains or the interval. As simple as that. So let's look at the characteristics of these functions. So when we have multiple sub-functions with each with its own domain, which is clearly explained over here. So we have defined intervals. So these are the intervals which are also what they are defined. And these intervals are different from the others. Get it that way. So here you have x less than 1. Here you have x greater than 0. You have x greater than or equal to 2. You see the intervals different from the others. And you have what? Different rules. So these different rules simply mean you'll be given a function, let's say, you have this function this way, and you be told to evaluate, let's say, f of 2, f of negative 2. You get that? So you just sit down critically, then you look out for the sub-function. Then you kind of ask yourself, which of them will I tackle first? Is it the first function, the second function, the third function, or what have you? And this calls for there are different rules regarding them. So I'll solve one example with you. Then you really will appreciate this. So viewers, let's solve questions and let's see how this is applicable. So we have 1. If f of x equals, of course, this is what? A piecewise function. You can have this one, an absolute value function, that is what? Piecewise. Okay. So we have 3x plus 5, and this is the domain of the set of interval x is less than 2. The second one, 4x minus 2, where x is greater than or equal to 2. Evaluate f of negative 2 and f of 4 according according to the question. So what are we supposed to do? So we have our solution this way. So here we have f of negative 2. So what are we supposed to do? Now, the third one, here what? Different rules. Let's see how it goes. So you ask yourself, the number over here, the negative 2, you ask yourself, can this negative 2 fit into this or that? Which one best fits the negative 2? Let's see. Here we have s is less than 2. What does it mean? So let's say s is less than 2. That means you have what? Negative numbers, right? So negative numbers, then to 0, then to 1. You get that? So 1, they move to 0, then you approach the negative values. And you realize that negative 2 is what? It's also part. So this inequality satisfies. Do you get that way? So this 2, this negative 2 is able to fit into this inequality. Do you get that way? So let's tackle the second one. Here we have what? S is greater than or equal to 2. What does it mean? So I have s is greater than or equal to 2. It means the number, okay, so this interval simply means you have 2, then numbers also greater than 2. So you see that 2, we have numbers greater than 2. So you have 3, 4, 5. And you ask yourself, can negative 2 fit into this? Not what? Not at all. So you shall now what? The first one. So as a result of that, we are going to substitute what? This negative 2 into this one, into this function, not this. So that explains what the meaning of what? Of the rules, different rules. So we have this. So 3, so we have 3x plus 5 plus 5. So here you put negative 2 into this. So I have 3 multiplying negative 2 plus what? Plus 5. So I have 3 by negative 2 is what? Negative 6. Then plus what? Plus 5. Is that also? So plus 5. So the answer gives what? The answer gives negative what? 1. As simple as that. So we have this f of positive 2. So which one should we go in for? Is it the first one or the second one? Let's look at what? The inequality or the domain over there. We have f of 2. Is it this or that? Clearly it's this. Because this starts from what? 2, 3, and beyond. So I'll go forward. The second what? Function. Which is what? I have 4x minus 2. Which is equal to, if I evaluate this, substitute 2 into this. Okay, so 4 then times what? X, which is what? My 2, positive 2. Then minus 2. So I will have this. 4 to 8 minus 2. So finally the answer gives what? Gives 6. As simple as that. And lastly, we have f of what? F of 4. Let's test. Is it the first one or the second one? X is less than 2. 4 can't even fit into this. Do you get it that way? But remember that 4 fits into this. Why? Because x is greater than or equal to 2 simply means 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and what? And beyond. As a result of that, I'll tackle what? The second what? Or the last function, which is what? I have 4x minus 2. So if I input 4 over here, I'll get what? 4 times x is what? Is 4 over here. Then minus 2. So I'll have 4 by 4 what? Gives 16 minus 2. And my final answer becomes what? 14. As simple as that. Can you see how simple piecewise function can be? Alright, so let's tackle the last question. This question. Yeah, it seems bulky, but if you understand the concept, you realize that this is very, very what? Simple. So let's tackle this question, okay? So we have, let's say f of x to be equal to this. So you just know that this is what? This is a piecewise function, okay? So evaluate f of 2. So I have f of 2. So which one should I go in for? Is it the first, second, third, or the fourth one? So we have f of 2. So we have 2 here. Let's see. X is less than -1. Would that one good? No. You get that way. So this simply means you have 0, no. That's -2, -3, -4 in that regard. So 2 wouldn't fit there. So let's tackle this. This means that we have so let's consider this question. F of x is given by this. So clearly this is what? This is a piecewise function. So the first question is evaluate f of 2. So f of 2, let's see. Is it the first one? We have x is less than -1. This means that I'm going to start from -2, -3, -4, and 2 doesn't fit into that. Okay? So let's come to the next one. We have -1 less than or equal to x less than 2. Is this less than 2? No, this is 2. So this wouldn't qualify. Okay? So here we have s is greater than or equal to 2. So that means the possible values for x is what? 2, 3, 4, 5, and beyond. So I think f of 2. Oh yeah, I think we can tackle this function where we can substitute what? 2 into this. Okay? Yes. So the function is we have x cubed plus 4. So let's put 2 into this. So we have 2 exponent 3, then plus 4. So we have 2 exponent 3 is what? Is 8, then plus 4. Which is equal to what? It's equal to 12. Okay. Then the second one we have f of 0. Let's see. X is less than -1. What does it mean? So it starts from what? So we have x less than -1. So we have 1 here, -1, -2, -3. So it starts from here. So will 0 fit into this? No, not at all. You get that because if you want to expand it, that means the possible values for x is what? -2, -3 going, but we want what? 0. So I don't think we can employ the first one, the first function. Okay, let's consider the second one. This is equality. We have -1 less than or equal to x less than 2. What does it mean? So this one, let's see if 0 can fit into this. Hey, 0 will fit here. So this one means we are starting from -1, 0, then what? 1. This is we said less than 2. So 2 is not what? Inclusive. This is less than or equal to. That means what? -1 is what is inclusive. So this is what? The values. Is that also? And 0 fits into that. So I will go in for what? For the second what? Function. So we have 5x plus 6. So when you put 0 into this, I'll have 5 multiplying 0 plus 6. So we have what? 0 plus 6, which is equal to what? 6. As simple as that. And the last one is f of what? F of 3. F of 3, let's see. Here, the first one wouldn't hold, the second one wouldn't hold. I think to be what? The third one, is that also the third one? For x, so this one simply means s greater than or equal to 2 simply means what? 2, 3, 4, and beyond. So 3 will fit into this. So we have the function there is what? S is the power 3 plus 4. So here we have 3 cubed plus 4. So 3 is the power 3 is what? 27 plus 4, which is equal to what? 31. As simple as that. Now, viewers, you ask yourself, you have 30, and look at the inequality, s is equal to 4. How do you go about it? So, let's see how we can evaluate this. This simply means we have 30, then we have s is equal to 4. So, let's add this. Evaluate f of 4. Okay, yeah, it's supposed to be part, f of 4. So we have something or situations like this, what do we have to do? So when you look through this, x is exactly what? 4, right? X is equal to 4. So we have to tackle this. Is that also? So what we are supposed to do is this. This is a function. Pretend this is a function, this is a function, this is a function. This is also what? A function. So we are supposed to do this way. So we have f of 4. You don't need to solve for anything. So f of 4 is simply what? It's simply 30. That's all. 30. So for questions like this, don't even bother yourself. Just go straight to the point. So f at this value is equal to this. As simple as that. Viewers, this is the end of the lesson. Kindly subscribe, share, comment as well for more interesting videos. See you next time. Bye.